You know people don't care, but still worried about people who will judge you. You know you're enough, but still feel inadequate. You know you're doing pretty well, but still feeling like you are falling behind. If that sounds like you, today's video is for you. I have heard a lot of people having the struggle. The knowing and the feeling just somehow doesn't match. No matter how much insight you get, how much distorted belief you're trying to correct and rewrite into a rational statement, it just doesn't feel true to you. So what do we do with this gap? This is exactly what we are going to talk about today. I see so many clients, family, friends who have really good insight, who've been through therapy for a long time, but somehow what they know and what they feel is just disconnecting. Today, we're going to use a neuroscience perspective to look at it so that we will understand why this knowing and thinking are mismatching. And we will talk about specifically how to deal with it. So you're actually truly starting to feel adequate, feel confident, feel that you are enough. First, let's talk about this gap. The gap between feeling and knowing. There's a common misconception that if I know logically that this is not right, this is not true to me, then my feeling will fall in line. But according to a lot of people's personal experience, this is simply not true. What's more, for people who are very logical, who are very intelligent, they start to get in this back and forth argument in their brain and oftentimes make the matter more complicated. When they go back to tell other people about what they're thinking, they were told that they are just working not hard enough to eradicate that belief. But the truth is, thinking and feeling, these two systems are not on speaking terms with each other all the time. And there are a lot of research that's supporting that idea. A very recent research in 2025 discovered that when you ask people to watch other people express an emotion versus what you're feeling yourself can be mismatching, and it activates different parts of your brain. The researcher asked participants to watch a movie. While they're watching the movie, they are going to document what they perceive the emotion people have in the movie and what their actual emotion is. So there's a perception of emotion and there's a feeling of my own emotion. And all these people are monitored by an fMRI machine. It will show us what area of the brain is more activated. What I found is the perceived emotion they have of the movie subject doesn't always align with the feeling that the people have. And they also found there are different areas of brain being activated when they're trying to analyze, trying to perceive a feeling versus their feeling themselves. So how is this relevant to what we are talking about? We can think about the movie you're watching is basically what you know. I know that I'm enough. I know other people are not going to judge me. I know it doesn't matter. I walk into a room, no one's going to look at me and say you're an idiot. However, what we perceive and what we feel are running different networks. So you see, they don't always agree with each other. Now you might ask, why do I believe it so deeply that I feel it even when I try to correct it? This is actually a power of your unconscious brain, your implicit memory. You might have heard a lot of people talk about a lot of things in your mind is unconscious and human brain are very underdeveloped. These might be the statement are debatable, but what is true is a lot of our behavior is unconscious. Think about when you're attracted to some people, you just naturally like them. You don't even know why you like them, right? You just feel this feeling. Where does that feeling come from? It usually comes from implicit memory. These sort of memory tend to get integrated into your mind earlier, into a deeper level, especially when these memories are related to fear, trauma, childhood wound, feeling of inadequate. Parent criticized me for a mistake that I made. Kids' brain is very survival mode, and their prefrontal cortex, the judgment, the intelligent processing logical brain hasn't fully developed yet. So we would keep very deep memory of these fear response. In fact, this is what helps people survive. Neuroscientist Joseph LeDoux talk about there is the high road and low road when you're processing information in your mind. The low road goes really fast, so the information will come in immediately. You will make a reaction, sometimes without even your conscious brain registering it. And a high road then provide more context into what actually happened. And there's another interesting study that's well established and being replicated multiple times. And researchers put people in the fMRI machine. And they're going to show a fearful face or a happy face in front of people for a split second, less than that your conscious mind is not able to register it. And after that, they are going to show them a face with a neutral expression. What researchers found is that even though when you ask these people, did you see a fearful face or happy face, they're going to say no. Their brain showed it. There is a very heightened brain activity that clearly shows a difference when these participants saw the fearful face versus the neutral face. So what it shows is our brain knows something scary is going to happen even before our body fully registers it. How does the brain recognize the pattern so fast? That is the low road that we talked about. It is the very quick and immediate response, knowing that something awful is going to happen. And this makes sense because it's evolutionary adaptive, right? We want to know danger is coming. So as we can see, the emotional fear-based learning is very sticky for good purpose, but it's not serving us anymore. So what do we do? The first thing we want to understand is it's almost not possible for us to erase this pattern of thinking. If I'm someone who has social anxiety, the goal for me will not be stop fearing people, but I will build a new pathway in my brain that help me to understand when I'm in the social environment, I am safe. And this new belief is going to form a new story that compete with the original story, which is people are going to laugh at me when I walk into a social situation and I'm going to embarrass myself. This new belief, I am safe, I am confident, I can express myself, I can make friends, is going to compete against the old belief. That is how we eventually feel and think the same way because we are able to create a new story and we're going to experiment that new story. We're going to live through that new story. We do the action first before we started to actually feel it, actually believe it. This is actually why inner child work works so well in this situation. Inner child work is about recognizing that there is an old pattern exists. We don't say no to this old pattern because what's the point of telling a screaming child to shut up? Right? You can't calm the child that way. You are going to recognize that this child has a need. And similarly, now there might not be an explicit child, but this child is inside of you. It's your inner child. Your inner child is crying for help, is scared. You are going to recognize it and you're going to tell them that I see it. And after that, here's the reparenting part. Here is the magical part where you can start to rewrite a story. You can start to talk to your inner child about, hey, I know this is scary for you right now because everything you've been through in the past, but now I am adult. I can handle this. Let me try to handle this for you. And let's see what's going to happen. And you are going to repeat this pattern again and again, thinking about you're strengthening that connection in your brain. You're trying to make this new story stronger. Part of it is like fake it until you make it. You are going to repeatedly reparent yourself, coaching yourself, telling yourself the lesson that you actually want to believe in, that you actually know is good for you, until your brain can just register it without much effort. I'm also linking here a free inner child practice video, and you can practice on your own. This is a powerful experience where you can meet your inner child and you can start a reparenting journey. It helps you understand what are the needs from the inner child, how do you comfort the inner child, and you will learn a lot of tools in this practice that you can apply in your own daily life. Going back to how we make what we know and what we feel align with each other, the third part that I personally find really helpful is modeling. This is based on Bandura's social learning theory. One of the things in social learning theory is kids learn what they need to do based on what they see in adults. So if the parents are cursing all the time, the kids will be also cursing all the time. This is a similar thing when you look at your social media. Go to your Instagram and look at contents on your first page. And if the content on your first page is making you feel anxious, making you feel this is not a good direction for me to head to, then you know these are not good modeling behavior. However, you are still watching this behavior, which makes it more likely for you to have this behavior. Instead, what you can do is do some research on people who actually embrace failure, on people who actually have a growth mindset, who actually show that they fail and it's okay to fail and they learn, who are the people you actually want to be, not just someone who's shiny on the outside. But when you see them, you know that you want to make friends with them. You want to ask them questions. You want them to be your mentor. Surround yourself with this kind of people. And thanks to social media, you don't actually need to get to know them in person. You can just watch and look at their social media, right? So this is a healthy way of modeling, and that also helps us strengthen this connection, the new story that we want to believe in. And the last thing, as much as we want everything work linear, progress is not linear. There are so many times we are still going to fall into the old pattern. It's natural because our brain is not going to completely erase the old network. The old story is still going to be there, and that's okay because we are going to have a new story. Except that progress is not linear. When you realize you're getting back to the old habit, tell yourself it's okay. I just need to catch myself and continue to rebuild a new story. Over time, the neural network supporting the new story is going to be stronger and stronger, much stronger, that it will have a much easier time to override the old habit, the old network that does not serve you anymore. If there's one thing that you want to take away today, let it be that it's okay knowing and feeling doesn't align. And there is also a way for them to align that requires work. And work is to build a new story in your mind instead of just saying no to the old story. I hope you enjoyed today's video and learned a thing or two from it. And I also would love to know, what are some of the old thinking patterns you are still believing, although you rationally know it is not true? For me, it's always know that I am enough, but still feel like I'm not good enough. And I'm still working on this. That's why I'm sharing all of these with you. If you don't want to miss more content like this, click the subscribe button. That means a lot to me, and that's the best way to support me. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.